I don't know, Mother Nature, whatever you want to label it, says, I don't think you guys are pissed off enough. I don't think black people are upset enough. I don't think that people are appalled enough. I don't think all of America is appalled enough. Where we're at now, what's happening now, South California. I'm just going to run this clip, then we'll talk about it. It's that bad.
California's Attorney General is being asked to investigate the death of a young black man who was found hanging from a tree. The initial finding of suicide alarmed the community. Some fear the Wednesday death in Palmdale, some 60 miles north of Los Angeles, could be foul play. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti reports.
Can I also ask that we stop talking about lynching?
At a contentious press briefing, residents in the LA County city of Palmdale demanded an independent investigation into the death of Robert Fuller. The 24-year-old was found hanging from a tall tree branch early Wednesday morning in a public square across from City Hall. Investigators didn't say if a ladder was found nearby.
We were sitting here staring at this tree. It don't make no sense.
That's right.
Fuller's sister, Diamond Alexander, along with activists, now demanding answers after they say the sheriff's department rushed to conclusions. For example, in one release, officials said it appears Mr. Fuller tragically committed suicide, even though homicide detectives were still investigating. A second statement released by the city linked Fuller's death to COVID-19 related depression, reading, "Sadly, it's not the first such incident since the COVID-19 pandemic began." But Fuller's sister said he wasn't depressed.
Robert was a good little brother to us. We've been hearing one thing, then we hear another. And we just want to know the truth.
It's the second recent hanging death of a black man in the area. On May 31st, after a night of George Floyd protests, Malcolm Harsch was found hanging from a tree in neighboring San Bernardino County. Officials said there are no signs of foul play, but said detectives were still investigating the cause and manner of death. Meanwhile, demands for an investigation into Fuller's death have gained national attention after tweets by both Senator Kamala Harris and Kim Kardashian went viral. Palmdale officials are now calling for an independent investigation and autopsy. Jonathan Vigliotti, CBS News.
Robert Fuller, 24 years old, Palmdale area of Southern California. Malcolm Harsch, 38 years old, Victorville, California, Southern California area. And first thing I want to say before we get into ideas about possibilities, right? I want to first say, if you ever known anyone who's committed suicide, then you'll know that it's very hard to grapple with it to begin with. Okay, so it's very hard to accept that a person has done this. I remember, just a real short aside, I remember when I was a teenager, a friend of ours, a friend of the group, friends, we had a group of friends, and one of our friends in the group committed suicide. And though we were all very close friends, basically all roommates, I had no idea that my friend, his name was Pat, was going through bouts of depression, on and off and on, and that he would often use marijuana and other drugs to kind of like self-medicate himself. I never knew the depths of it. He was a young guy, good-looking guy, popular with the ladies, fun guy, but that had nothing to do with what he felt inside. It had no bearing at all on the depression. Depression is an illness, it's a sickness. It has nothing to do with your external situation, though it can be exacerbated by stress and exacerbated by financial constraints or what have you, detachment from families and friends, but it also, you could be very successful. You could be very happy. You could be rich even and still be very depressed, and not everyone know about it. So I just want to make sure that before we even go down this road, for anyone who's suffering with depression, it's not an indictment of you at all. Be brave, be courageous, and know that you are a fighter and a survivor, that you're here now. And what you need to do is call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. National Suicide Prevention Hotline, 1-800-273-8255. The fact that you are alive right now is a testament to how strong you are. So I want you to feel good about that and make that phone call. Okay, make the phone call now. Someone loves you, and there is always hope. As long as there's life, there's always hope. So please call that number. Now, back to this story. So there are some things about it that, first of all, we got police ruling things suicides without actually it being ruled suicide by the coroner. So that's always a problem, because you're coming in and saying, well, this looks like I don't see anything. I don't see any gunshot wounds or or whatever it is. I don't see any signs of foul play that are very evident, so I'm just going to assume that this was a suicide. And that's not always the case, and there's no way for them to know. So part of the suspicion is, one, police officials are coming in very quickly and saying, this is like a suicide, nothing to see here, and not communicating with families. You know that when you watch the movies and the cops are real communicative and they talk to the families and they're back and forth and they don't worry, man, we're looking into it, and oh, it's okay, I understand your grief, and that doesn't happen in real life. In real life, sometimes they never talk to you. You never, like, there are people still waiting to hear from the police. This is not the movies. In real life, people are ignored, okay? People are ignored. So various reasons for that, but that's the reality. The second thing is, I don't know if you know this or not, but there's a hysteria sweeping through the country about Donald Trump. I remember covering Donald Trump in 2015. There were little kids going to school saying things like, we can't let Trump win. Trump going to bring back slavery. These were elementary school children. So ever since Donald Trump came to become president, rise to power, black people by and large have been a feeling of trepidation about which way the country was going. To those people who keep saying, well, he's just a symptom of a problem, these people are not really in touch with the black community by and large. A lot of black people in the black community, and Latino people in the Latino community, and white people in the white people, there are a lot of people that don't see Trump that way. They see him as the second coming of Lucifer. And they feel that his pandering to the right to these people that they feel that don't like immigrants, don't like blacks, don't like LGBTQ, don't like anyone other than white people, basically. White citizens of the United States. So they have a problem with that to begin with. So they're living with this thing, okay, in the back of their heads at all times, that we're living in a country that doesn't like black people. Now that predates Trump, but Trump exasperates it. The idea of Trump and everything that's been said about Trump as well, and things he said, has created this atmosphere where people are thinking anything could be happening. The Charlottesville protest, the protests at the monuments, the Proud Boys, the resurgence of the Klan. These things are real. These things are real, especially in the mind of the people. So all these things are happening. And then we have, of course, the lynching that we saw on TV, Ahmaud Arbery, right there for you. Right there for you. So this adds to more concern, more trepidation, more worry. And now we have black men hanging themselves. Now, I just want to get into some of the details, because I've seen some people go, oh, this is crazy talk. This is crazy talk. We're not like that. We just saw cops kill a man slowly on TV. All of us saw it on cable TV, social media. We saw a cop kill it. We saw three cops kill a man while one cop stood guard for almost 10 minutes, and no cop lifted a finger. So please, don't waste your damn time trying to tell me what America's not. Okay? We saw cops serve a no-knock warrant and shoot a woman 8 times in her bed, and none of them go to jail. So please don't waste your time telling me what America's not and how great America is. So just save that for some goofy mofo that you meet off the street that's drinking Trump Kool-Aid. Just save it for them. Save that. Put it in the, seal it up, put it in the fridge. Drink more of it later, because I don't want any of it, because I live in reality. You live in this place. We're skipping through the meadows, with lollipops and dandelions and green clovers and rainbows and sunshine. You're skipping through the two loops, mofo. We're dealing with the real world and what real world life is. And what it is, it's not very friendly to us. Okay? Coupled with the fact we got all this homelessness and healthcare issues rampant. People being laid off and people not knowing where the next meal's coming from. These are all issues. But I just want to get into this next. Mr. Harsch. Malcolm Harsch was 38 years old. Okay, just let me frame this because people are saying, oh, you're crazy. You're just talking. You're just trying to scare people. Okay, fair enough. Let me make a case why people are doubtful. Mr. Harsch was 38 years old. He had no physical symptoms of any issues. His girlfriend says he was fine. They found him hung at 7 a.m. the next day. Now, he was in some financial issues. He was at a homeless, they were in some type of a tent. She said she was with him earlier that morning, but had returned to her tent for a short time when others alerted her to the situation, according to the sheriff's department. The family says a deputy told them Harsch was hanging with the USB cord. A USB cord, mofo. Harsch was no little guy. Harsch was 6'3". He had blood on his shirt, blood on his body. They said it was a suicide. There was blood on his shirt and his body. He was 6'3" inches tall. He wasn't even dangling from the tree, Johnson. Mr. Harsch, his feet were on the ground. Do you understand why some people may have a little doubt that this was a suicide? Mr. Fuller is 24 years old, found hanging from a tree in Palmdale on June 10th. On Monday, sheriff's officials vowed a broad investigation after initially determining no foul play in his death as well. No evidence to support anything foul, no signs of a struggle. Just hanging from a tall tree where there are no ladders and it's pretty high to get up there. Not unlike something out of Watchmen, where they got Don Johnson, if you saw that. So what I'm saying to you is, it's on top of everything that we're stacking this on top of. This is very much a cause of concern for a lot of folks. We're here at the Tim Black Show. Look, I'm not here to feed into making people afraid or worried. That's not what we're doing. But I don't want to dismiss anything. I will not dismiss anything. I will tell you to be careful. I will tell all people to always be careful and watch their surroundings. This could be just, maybe Mr. Fuller wanted to go to the town square in front of the Capitol building or whatever in the middle of the night and climb a tree 15 feet in the air, and then maybe that was, I don't know, but just in case he had assistance, because you weren't there and I weren't there. Just in case he had assistance, I'd like to caution all people, be very careful. What's going on with this case? What's going on with this case is the FBI, the California Attorney General, are now investigating both these cases. They're looking into them, and let's hope they come up with something definitive, at least the cause of death, and rule out these men being killed somewhere else and then propped up and hung up, or any other thoughts that people have about it. As with every case that covers loss of life, we wish the condolences. We'd like to send our condolences and deepest regrets to the families of Mr. Malcolm Harsch and Robert Fuller. We're sorry for your loss, and we will report this story as more information comes out.
I want to dabble in the conspiracy a little bit and then get back to the facts, because, we only dwell in facts here. But I wanted to talk about, the two cases where they had the brothers that were hung in California and I think Florida. And I don't know if you know this, but there is another case in Texas and a female in Georgia that has also been hung. And my conspiratorial spin on it is, you know, we all know that the white supremacist group infiltrated the police in the 90s and beyond. That was their agenda. What if they are targeting black people because they're protesting in this case and they don't like that they are forcing the hand of the government to deal with them appropriately? What if this is like a dog whistle, like this is what's going to happen to you if you keep doing what you're doing because we are in control of things and you're not going to question our authority and you're not going to force these people to half act right when it comes to us. That's my conspiratorial spin on that situation, and I have a fear that this is probably not going to be the end. And that's the part that scares me and should scare every individual, no matter where you fall on the race line, because, you know, it's us today, but it could be you tomorrow.
Hey, Smart Sister Tim, how are you?
How are you?
I'm good. I just called to say, to agree with that sister, it's not a conspiracy or anything. What white supremacy is showing you that all your marching, all of you think you got something going, we gonna show you that you still ain't about shit. And we gonna kill you, and we gonna put the fear in any of the rest of the y'all that might want to go march. This is what the fate you could possibly have. I saw a young brother today on another platform, broke my heart. Poor brother was crying, and he just said, I'm so tired of leaving my house afraid every day. You know, and he was talking about all these lynchings. Look, let me say this. I am 59 years old. I've been around the barn quite a few times. The time is over to keep begging and asking and marching and asking and marching and asking. The time is for us to pull our money, spend it with ourselves, do a black exodus. That's what we need to do, okay? Because I'm not going to waste no more of my breath, time, whatever, worrying about trying to ask somebody to give me the rights that I should have. And basically, we got to pull our shit and do our own thing and let the chips fall where they may. And trust me when I say fall at where they may, people can take that cried, marched, begged, pleaded, sung songs, walked slow, sing low, and what? We now in 2020, you got 5 people being lynched in the last week. Really? It ain't no dog whistle. That's just telling you what they gonna do. So it's about time they figure out what we gonna do. That's what's gonna have to happen. Because other than that, 20 years from now, we'll still be having the same damn conversation. And that's what I got to say about it. And don't nobody want to hear that, but that's what it's going to be, because I'm not worrying about, I'm so happy about us working, marching together. Marching ain't going to get you nothing. You know, and until white people have to give up something, until they have to give up some white privilege, and until some more of them die, because obviously they killing some of them. Look at that one white woman died from the tear gas. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. It just is what it is. And death is pretty much all people understand. And that's the honest to God truth.
Wow. Well, look, thank you for the phone call, sister. I appreciate it. There are people that think this is a joke. They really do think it's a joke, man. Like, they don't get it. That's why sometimes, like, it's like, okay, so let me just say on the record, folks, of, we haven't had to do this for a while. As long as I was talking about Hillary Clinton, it was pretty safe. You start getting into this area, it gets dangerous. For the record, I'm not depressed. Not at all. So if you get any news about Tim Black, investigate that shit, because I'm not depressed. I'm not upset. I'm doing what I want to do with my life, and I'm in good spirits. So just remember that. And look, people need to recognize that. How can I say this without getting into? I don't want any issues. I'm not here to tell you what other people aren't. Let me just say this. I've been challenging the powers that be for a long time. If people can't smell who's real and who's not real, fine. For the people that follow this show who know what's real, who know I call out power no matter who it be, and not just because it's fashionable to do, you realize that there's a cost to pay. There's a potential cost to pay for that. So, there it is. So this is reality. This is what we're dealing with. It's risky. That's why not everyone does it. You don't think people realize there's something wrong? People are afraid. So I'm going to go to the next call. Thank you for your phone call, sister.